Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video, and let's talk about the new Overclock mode. I have some thoughts. So I've been wanting a new simulation mode for quite a while. I was one of the weird people at the beginning that liked simulation mode when everybody was saying it was repetitive and boring. But when the game launched, I actually thought it was really interesting and engaging to be able to pick different buffs and kind of learn about what strategies would work before you got a really overpowered account, right? And I think it also did a really good job of teaching people about what buffs did what before they unlocked all the overload equipment and then could choose those same kind of buffs on their overload line. So it was always kind of an interesting mode for me, but it's gotten really stale because at this point I'm so OP for it, like many of you guys probably are too, where you just blow through it. And honestly, it's good because after doing it every single day, it would definitely get very repetitive. So it's really cool to see a new mode for it, and it's really interesting to see how they did it. So I do like that they didn't just simply make a hard version. It's not just okay, now you need this much more CP. They actually went a much more interesting route for it, and so far I've been having a lot of fun with it. I've gotten my maximum rewards for today, and by the way, while you're watching this, you'll just see me kind of looking through things for the very first time, and just reading about it and stuff. You can see me fighting in the background. But one of the things I think is really kind of cool about this is that it's not just a whale mode. Because say it had been just you need twice as much CP now, then it's just if you're a day one player or you're a mega whale, you're gonna be able to do it, and then otherwise you're just not, and it's just more of a grind. But in this way, with choosing the different kinds of handicaps that you have, it's a much more interesting way of increasing the difficulty. Now, it is kind of interesting that the rewards stop at ratio 25, at least as far as I know. If you guys have found that it does not stop at ratio 25, please let me know in the comments below. But it can go all the way up to 50. So at least in the beta here, there doesn't seem to be any incentive to go beyond 25. I definitely haven't beat it at ratio 50. That would be very, very difficult. We'll see if I get there eventually. But again, there isn't really an incentive to do that. But I have gotten it for ratio 25. Let me know what the highest you have gotten to, by the way. I do think it's interesting to see what combo of restrictions you can work with. So, is it that you just give every enemy a bunch more health? Do you restrict what you can use in certain burst modes? I thought it was really particularly interesting the way that they restricted oh, you can't use SMGs in burst 1, or you can't use shotguns or whatever, that kind of thing. Which kind of brings me to my next point is, do you think there will be rotating buffs? So another good example of this is we could set everything to being iron, but it doesn't look like we can select wind or electric or water or anything else. So I wonder if the next time it comes up, it'll be a different elemental restriction. It would be kind of strange if it was just always stuck on iron, or maybe that's just for the beta they only do iron, and in the full version we'll have access to choosing from each element. Let me know, do you think would that be better if we just always got to choose one of each element? Or should it be a rotating weekly thing where this week it's always iron, next week it's always water, that kind of thing? Because I think that is a cool restriction, but it's a little odd that we're only on one. And there's just so many different ways that you can change things. Also, I really didn't see this coming with them being able to turn off the bond power increases or the recycling room power increases. That's another really cool restriction that you can add on there. And so seeing which combo of all these different ways of making it harder allows you to get to those highest rewards of ratio 25 is really interesting, because it just shows that there's always another way of doing something, and that's something that I've tried to stress. I made a solo raid guide at one point where I tried to kind of teach you the general tools and the ways of thinking about things rather than just giving you specific comps for that specific union raid or solo raid. And in there, my big point was there's always more than one way of doing that, and you need to get creative. Link to that video in the description below if you want to check that out, by the way. So same idea here. I love that we're having the control over different ways of increasing our difficulty depending on what is strong or weak about our particular accounts or our particular play style. By the way, I'd really appreciate a subscription if you, I said that really weird, a subscription. If you enjoy Nikke videos, I put them out every week, and I'm trying to reach a goal of 3,500 subs. I also do guides for Echo Clips all the time, and there's like a ton of modes in that, so if you play that game, you'll be seeing those as well. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about was the rewards. I think that the rewards are good. I've talked to a lot of people in my Discord community about how they feel about this mode, and I think it is a solid amount of rewards. You know, it's not giving us like an insane amount where it's trivializing like the grind at all, definitely not. But it does feel like it's worth your while, you know. We are getting enough that it's like satisfactory that like, oh, I accomplished this, I got a pretty good amount of rewards. But let me know, do you think they should be more or less? Probably no one's gonna say they should be less. The next thing I want to talk about is that I feel like this is a really engaging mode, right? Like it really encourages manual play and strategy. And I think this is like really some like good quality PvE content. You know, like raids and the campaign are good content too. And like raids kind of straddle PvE versus PvP, a little bit of both in there. But I think as much as like they are interesting to play and I enjoy them, they do become a little bit one note sometimes. You know, I think that this is, you know, a different type of engagement. Again, like I said, you don't have a huge advantage for being a whale, and just being able to, again, like do all these different options, I think really helps this. And this also makes me think about the coming champion arena, or whatever they end up calling it, our new arena mode, and I hope we can get a similar level of PvP experience on that side, because PvP, you know, in general is something that I really enjoy, and Arena is something I was excited about initially, but now I really don't have the motivation there because it's just kind of blah, you know. And so I think if we can get another really rich mode like this for PvP, that would be really cool. I don't know how they would do that, but, you know, it just got me thinking and makes me hopeful for the future for that. Lastly, I just want to, you know, remind everybody that this is a beta, so things could change, and I'd like to know what you think they should change. So please let me know in the comments below any suggestions that you have for this mode. Also, if you think there's a particularly good combo, again, I think this depends on people's accounts, but if you found a really good combo that you think gets you to those highest level rewards after ratio 25, but is still like very doable, I'd be interested to hear what you've done for that as well. Oh, and one more thought, actually, I forgot about this. Do you think this should be a daily event or like a weekly event? Or, you know, how often do you think we should be able to do the Overclock mode once it's actually, the final version has come out? Okay, so I've really been enjoying Overclock mode. I think it's cool, and I will catch you guys in the next video or stream. Please give me a sub. See you later.